Hiya, Sandra here with Lisa Horton Crafts. Today I'm going to show you how I made this fun bright card. I used my Floral Posy Edgecutz from Lisa Horton, and I've cut a card base, and it's 8 inches by 11 inches, and I've scored it at 3.5, just to almost give a sort of slimline effect on the front. And then I've also cut 2 panels, and they are 8 inches by 5.5 inches. And I've already took the Floral Edgecutz die in it and then used the edge cut as well. And as you can see, it kind of leaves it still attached because it's a bigger panel. So I'm using my craft knife and I'm just taking off that little bit at the top and the bottom. And there you can see it just leaves that beautiful edge. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I just do the same thing with the other one as well. And on one of the panels I've took off a 1/2 inch. If you wanted it to look a bit more staggered when the card was shut, you could probably take off 1 inch. This panel here, I've actually used the cutting die to hot foil instead of cutting, and doing an emboss resist technique using my carved pumpkin, peacock feathers and picked raspberry, and just really roughly adding some colour. Excuse me. And then just some water and adding some splatter. Got to have some splatter, eh? And then sort of just the inside panel, I'm adding those same nice bright colours. And again, quite rough. And just making sure to do the top and the bottom at the inside edge as well, so you don't see it. Now, I've made a hinge here, and it's 3.5 by 3 inches and scored at 1/2 inch, 1.5 inches and 2 inches, and then just folding them round. And what that does is create a sort of little box shape. And then the second hinge is smaller, and it's going to be 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches, scored at 1/2 inch, 1.25 inches, and then 1 3/4 inches. I'm just adding the sort of front panel on. I actually also used the scalloped slimline die too, just to add a nicer edge to the other edges as well. Now, this hinge here, if you put the double edge tape or your glue on the first small panel, and then you can put it on the next panel as well. That's the area the card is going to stick to. Skip the next one. I'm just trying to work it out in my head here when I'm having a muck about. So yeah, take that off. I like to add just a little bit of liquid glue as well to give it an extra little bit of strength, especially because it's like a sort of pop-up mechanism. And just butt it up against the inside edge, staying away from the actual crease. And then the other edge, butt that up against it as well. So what you're doing is opening the card up the opposite way and then butting the other edge up, and you can see it gives you that nice little box. And then taking off the tape, and this is where the nice fancy panel will get added. And again, just some liquid glue, not too much. And just make sure it's nice and neat. I like to put it as close to the card as I can, but maybe just leaving the slightest gap just so that it can open and close easy. And just giving it a really good press down. I mean, it looks really nice like that, but I'm going to do another layer. So this is a smaller hinge this time. And again, just put the tape on the first panel and the second panel, and then you'll put it on the, skip the next panel and then put it on the last one, the tape. Yeah, like that. And then again you'll put the inside edge, the small edge against the card. So just butt it right up against it, again sitting on top of the other panel that you've already done, and just close the card over, and that'll pick it up exactly where it's to go. And then what you do is you kind of open up the card then and sort of pop the other edge over to the inside edge as well. Hopefully you're getting it by watching. It's quite hard to describe. And then again just closing the card over, and then that'll pick up the sticky part and you'll be left with a nice wee perfect box again. And taking off that tape and adding a bit of glue and adding the second panel on top. Now, one of the cards that I've done before, I did 3 panels, but you would need a bigger card for that, like a wider card, because what you don't want is to see the little hinge mechanism through the floral pattern. And I mean, that's like the pop-up part more or less done, and I've already cut out a lot of the other little flowers and everything, and they're from the Floral Posy Edgecutz as well. They're absolutely gorgeous. And some I've sort of ink blended in the same kind of colours, and other ones I'm just leaving with a gold outline. And just kind of sticking them randomly where I think they'll look good. And I've cut out the banner from the banner sentiment stamp and die set, and just heat embossed it in white and ink blended over the top. And I've added another banner underneath it with the gold, and just left a little shadow. Sorry, this is really early in the morning when I'm doing this voiceover, so my brain's not quite working. And there, this little gold outline, I'm actually putting it right over the top of the pattern that's been cut out. And that's it more or less done, I think. And it just looks really nice and cheerful and bright, and just with the added pop-up, it looks really clever. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. Any questions or anything, just let me know. Please leave a thumbs up and comment. Really appreciate it. Bye-bye.